Okay, so a couple hints here. I'll try to give you a couple hints every now and then. These problems are long and you really have to take your time. Take your time. It's so easy to make a little mistake and there's so many steps. So if you rush through it, it's going to make it a lot harder to find the mistakes. I would say take your time, double check as you go along. Like when you write a sentence, or a sentence, well, they're sentences, math sentences, they're equations. When you write an equation, double check and make sure you wrote exactly what you meant. Like, did you multiply right? Did you get the signs right? The signs are the big one. And then even when you're just copying an equation, stop and make sure you copied it correctly, because it's a lot easier to catch your mistake then than later on. Then get like to the end of the problem and you have some crazy answer and you're like, uh-oh, I made a mistake someplace. Then it's a lot harder to find it. So take your time, double check as you go along. Now, when you're using the elimination method, look for ones, coefficients of 1. That's going to be a lot easier to multiply and add with than, like, say I wanted to do the 5 and the 13 here. That's going to be a little trickier. I mean, you can do it, but those are going to be bigger numbers and probably a little bit harder to work with. So I have a 1 on the x here and a -1 there. And that already makes me happy because I know the x's are going to cancel if I just add those two equations. Okay? So that's what I'm going to go with. I'm going to plan this out. I'm going to eliminate the x's. That'll give me a yz equation. And then we'll talk about it from there. Okay, so let me just copy these down because I already wrote on them. X minus 3y plus z equals 4. And then negative x plus 2y. You can put the ones in if you want. Minus 5z equals 3. Okay, remember I'm going to be adding these equations. And I think I'll put it in orange. The x's are canceling out. Make sure you have one positive and one negative. That'd be another hint. X plus x, that equals 2x, not 0. Okay? X plus negative x, that equals 0. Okay? So you got to be careful on that. All right, negative 3y plus 2y. Okay, negative 3 and 2, that's a negative 1y. Z and negative 5z is negative 4z. Equals, now 4 plus 3, that's just 7. Take your time, like I said, copy it down right. Don't rush through it. Okay, I know sometimes it's like a Band-Aid and you want to just rip it off and get it done. But take your time with this. It'll save you a lot of headache later on. Okay, now we want to take this equation and eliminate the x's. I can get rid of those ones I wrote in. So how can I do that? Well, if I were to multiply this equation by 5, then that would look really good. So I would have negative 5x plus 10y minus 25z equals 15. Now, what am I doing here? I'm distributing, right? I'm multiplying by 5. Now, I have some good news. There aren't any fractions in here so far. They're integer coefficients. There's no exponents in these equations, right? They're just x, y, z. Okay. Now I'm just going to copy the bottom equation as is. 5x minus 13y plus 13z equals 8. I'm going to put this in orange. It's going to be a yz equation. The x's cancel out. Yay, I have negative 5x and 5x. 10y and negative 13, that's going to be a negative 3y. And then negative 25z and positive 13z. You can do this on a calculator if you want. But I'm getting negative 12z equals 15 and 8 is what, 23? Okay. So now I have a new system. You might want to copy it down. Maybe that's easier for you to do. I'm not sure. Okay, so I think I'll eliminate the y's. To do that, I'm going to have to multiply the top equation by a negative 3. Notice it has to be negative, so I can have a positive 3y and a negative 3y, and they'll cancel out. Okay, so we'll just go with doing this with black here, but I'm distributing again. and I get 3y plus 12z equals negative 21. And then the bottom equation, I'm just going to copy that down. Negative 3y minus 12z equals 23. Okay, so we got what we wanted. The y's canceled out. But look what happens to the z's. 12z and negative 12z, that also cancels out. So I get a 0 on the left. I think we talked about that in an earlier video, how that might happen. So 0 on the left, it's really important. What do I get on the right? Negative 21 and 23, well, that would be 2. Okay, this is not true. 0 does not equal 2. So this is false. There is no solution. And as a note, this system is inconsistent. Inconsistent isn't the answer. The answer is that there's no solution for this system. There's nothing you can put in that's going to satisfy all three equations. Okay,